Hey, what's up guys, back here with another video, and today we are not going to do a budget build. This is not really a budget build, but this is going to be a build that's under or around $1,000 plus or minus 5%. So let's get straight to it. So the rules of this $1,000 build is that we cannot go over 5% of $1,000, which is around $1,060. So after that, we are not allowed to choose graphics cards or anything that are out of stock as of time of recording, which is January 27th. And other than that, that's actually all the rules we have, so let's just straight to that. Oh, and one more rule, we have to have an SSD in our system to run our Windows OS on it. So finding a CPU for a $1,000 build is actually very easy, as long as you find everything in stock. So this AMD Ryzen 5 3600 is a really good performance for $200. So I found it on both Amazon and Newegg, and on Amazon it is actually out of stock at the time of recording, which is January 27th. Okay, so right here it's gonna come in stock in February 6th, which is a few days from now, but we want to choose everything that's in stock. So this Ryzen 5 from Newegg is in stock right now. So let's add this to our list. So now looking for a GPU that is actually pretty good and under, let's say, $300-400. And we want a GPU that's pretty good performance with, let's say, PCI Gen 3 and some at least 4 GB of DDR6 memory. So NVIDIA 1650 Super is actually pretty good. The 1660 Super, the one that I have, is actually way higher than when I got it. So when I got it, it was around $320. Now it's around $400-500 with that inflated price. So now we will have to go with the NVIDIA 1660 Super. So let's find out what the best budget is. So after looking on both Newegg.com and Amazon.com, I found that the Zotac Gaming GeForce GTX 1650 Super is probably the best price for this. This is $300, and obviously this is not the biggest GPU that we can find, but obviously if we have some price left over, we will obviously add it or add a bigger one into our system. So let's just add this right now into our list. So now looking for a motherboard of the B450. Right here we want to look for a B450 because some of the features that we find in the X570 series of motherboards, Ryzen 5 3600 cannot take advantage of all of those features. So we're looking for a motherboard that has a B450 series. Plus we want to see a motherboard that has a Wi-Fi built in because some of you may not have Ethernet or access to Ethernet. And if we don't have Bluetooth or Wi-Fi built into the motherboard, we will just get an external or internal Wi-Fi card that we can just attach to our motherboard like I did. So let's find the cheapest prices on both sides and see which one is the best deal. Oh, and just FYI, we don't want to put RGB on our motherboard because that increases prices by a lot. So we're trying to minimize RGB, so just FYI. You're out your mind, I'm crazy too. I've been looking for someone like you, and I'm at it again like I'm supposed to. Passing drinks in the bands when we roll through. Girl, forget all of your friends and what they told you. I don't wanna hear it anymore. So I just found the best motherboards for Wi-Fi or that has Wi-Fi built in and Bluetooth built in. So this is from MSI, Arsenal Gaming, AMD, first and second and even third gen CPU compatibility. So this goes for $89 on Amazon and $89 on Newegg, which is great. Plus, it's in stock in Newegg, unlike Amazon, which everything's out of stock in Amazon, or most of the time. So we're gonna go with the Newegg one, and let's add that to the list. Oh, and this motherboard also has a few I/O ports that I forgot to talk about. It has 4 USB 2.0, HDMI full-sized, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi adapter, 4 USB 3.0s, Ethernet jack. I think this is 1 gig if I'm not wrong, and some I'm saying not Bluetooth, but speaker ports right here. And I think this is a 1 gig Ethernet if I'm not wrong.
Good job first.
So yeah, I was right. This motherboard does have a 1 gig Ethernet on it. So yeah, this is pretty good. So finding an SSD. Finding SSDs for a build that's for $1,000 is actually pretty easy. So an SSD of 500 12 gigs is actually very cheap. So right around here. This is 970 EVO. It's the model that I have, just 1 terabyte instead of 500 gigabytes. And if we feel that we need to add more storage at the end, we will obviously add around 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive just to store all your games and all the other applications that you might want to store on that hard drive. So right here we have the Samsung 970 EVO 500 gig SSD, and we will try to search that same thing up on Newegg.com. So finding the same thing on Newegg.com, we actually have the exact same price on both. So I'll just go with the Amazon one. And let's add that to our list. So now looking for RAM. Obviously Ryzen is very dependent on RAM speeds. I don't know why, but it just is. So the sweet spot for Ryzen is 3200 megahertz. So for a $1,000 build, I think 16 gigs of memory is really good. And obviously we don't want to get RGB, or we're trying to avoid RGB because that really inflates the price by a lot. So let's search for good, reputable brands for RAM. So after looking both on Amazon and Newegg.com, we find some RAM, 16 gigs of memory that is at 3600 speed on both, which is actually, this is not 3600, this is 2666, which is not the best. So we will go with the Corsair Vengeance 16 gigs of dual channel, which is at 3600 megahertz of RAM, which is very good. Plus, this is actually not that tall, so you can fit almost any size cooler on top of your CPU and not block RAM, which is pretty good. So this also goes for $83 on Amazon.com. So let's add this to our list.
Just as long as they know money made me do it, I say rest in peace to bankroll. You in a better place.
So now going with the case that has great airflow and at least 2 fans. So I'm going to choose the case that I have because my case is really good. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's very good, and so you don't have to buy external fans for your case. So right here we're trying to go for a white case. So this is the Corsair 275R Airflow from Corsair, and it's very good. This has already 2 built-in fans in the front and 1 in the back. I think this is 140 millimeter fans if I'm not wrong, or 120 millimeter. So this is 120 millimeter fans in the front and the back, 2 in the front and 1 in the back. Obviously you can switch them around and configure it the way you want. So let's add the one on Newegg to our list, and this is going for $80 as of right now. So now finally, almost done with our build, we have to find a power supply. So we have to get a pretty good power supply so we make sure that it doesn't blow up or make any of our system things or system equipments go bad. So choosing a fully modular one on Amazon, this is the EVGA Supernova for $107. So now let's look on Newegg to find a pretty good one, almost exactly like this. So let's start finding that. So there we go. We found one on Newegg.com, and it goes for $105. Obviously just $2 cheaper, but we want to save as much money as possible, so we will go with the Newegg one. And just to let you know, this is a 650 watt power supply, enough to power everything in our system, and probably with some upgrades too in the future. So this also has an eco mode, which just turns off the fan until a certain temperature, or until it reaches a certain temperature, which is pretty good. So let's add the Newegg one to our build. So guys, the overall build, I'm really happy, is just under $1,000, $922. Which is pretty good. So now we do have some space to upgrade our build or our components. So the first thing that I want to do is actually upgrade our hard drive or the storage in our system. So I'm going to add another 2 terabyte hard drive that goes for around $54 from Seagate. So let's go there. So right here we have the 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda, and it's 7,200 RPM, which is not that bad. So let's add this to our build, and it's still going to be under $1,000. So we still have more room to upgrade our, let's say, GPU or something else. So let's do that right now. So the overall cost right now is $976, which is still under $1,000. So let's now upgrade our 1650 Super to a bigger size GPU to have better thermals. So let's do that right now. So after all the searching, we finally got to this Asus TUF 1650. This only powers 3 monitors, but this is actually not that bad. Has much better cooling than the Zotac, and has DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.0 full size, and a native DVI, which is obviously going to be full size. So yeah, let's add this to our system. So after adding that to our system, our total is $996. So now let's add some RGB to our system. Don't fall into this trap, but only fall into this trap if you have accomplished all your specifications in your build. So now let's add some RGB to our RAM. So after looking here and there for RAM, I have found Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro 16 gigs of 3200 MHz. This is the sweet spot for Ryzen 5 3600, and we added that in our build, and it cost $95 on its own. So after all of that, we got a total price of $1,008, which is very good, and we could not go over $1,050, which is pretty nice. So everything here is very solid, and I'll be linking every single part that I talked about in the description below. So go check that out if you want to build a system for $1,008 right now. Anyways guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you liked this video, and I'll guys see you in the next one. Peace.
Just as long as they know money made me do it, I say rest in peace to